Hi Michael, we're trying, now that the storm has just passed, to see if we can operate on the western perch. So we're going to have the moon for now, and then going to look at the blaze star to see if it had exploded yet, TCRB, and then we'll see what the western front will offer us. We just had some severe thunderstorms move through, and probability of rain is still high, but as long as I can see the moon, it means it's not raining. At least I hope. I have not had the chance to see what is available on the west today, but I had used the west primarily in the past to watch the sun. As you may be able to tell from the inset, that's the edge of the house. The moon has just cleared the house. It has a few trees to deal with, but as it gets darker, we should be able to see the moon nicely. Good evening, Raider fan. Yes, we have survived. Lost a couple of trees, but not the big ones that I'm trying to get rid of. They're still blocking my part of my view. But no complaint otherwise. And for some reason, Dwarf does not want to focus tonight. Look, look. Auto. Ta-da! So we do it manually. Yeah, we got to 92, I believe, American degrees. And it's still very hazy, obviously. I saw that. I saw the zoo sale. I am all set with equipment right now. Don't know if you guys heard that Space and Telescope magazine had a story that Meade telescopes, Meade and Orion, shut down and laid off everybody. Don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound good. I don't know, the article went through some interesting detail of looking at shipment records, public information coming from Taiwan and China. And in the case of mead, I believe their manufacturing is in Mexico. But the number of shipments for Celestron went up during the pandemic and then went back down, but stayed healthy. The shipments for mead dropped like a rock, so there must not be demand. And they are ruling out at this point the smart telescopes being the cause or part of the cause. Mead telescopes are in pretty much every university observatory and lots of the club observatories and the better professional observatories. But on the record and off the record, I have had very poor customer service with them over the years. Actually, the only telescope that I ever returned same day I received it was a Meade 12-inch. I still have the video footage of when I turned it on. The very first time it gave me motor failure and could not get past the motor failure. Whenever I tried to move, it just said motor failure and stopped. So repackaged the whole thing and shipped it, but not before spending an inordinate amount of time with help that was effectively useless. Every question I asked, they said the answer is in the manual, go look it up. Well, thank you. Don't know why Dwarf does not want to focus tonight. I have one Meade still, and I operate two additional Meades up at Oswego at the university. And one of them is a 16-inch monster. The big engineering shortcoming of Meade telescopes are the hard stops. If the telescope goes beyond 360 degrees, it hits a hard stop. I would have much rather had a switch instead of a hard stop, or a switch and a hard stop, one that will turn it off if we have a runaway scope. But now, instead of turning it off, it just keeps banging against the hard stop as hard as it can and keeps trying to move forward until you physically get to it and stop it. That creates a problem from an ASCOM perspective. Some ASCOM applications will not send a nudge to the telescope, but they will send a move until we tell you to stop. And if that stop does not make it in time, for whatever reason, including Windows deciding to run the Windows Defender or an update or some process that slows down the stop command to the scope, then you have a runaway scope. And I've witnessed it many times. The Celestron CGX mount has switches. So if there is a runaway mount, it hits the switches and it turns off the mount, which is fine with me. iOptron does not. And last week, my iOptron AS Mount Pro decided to run away and tangled all the wires around it, which is the main reason why I have a wireless power switch. I can remotely from my control room shut down the power to the dome. Okay, it's brute force, it works. And I have a camera inside the dome that will show me what's going on. So when I see the 120 pound mount with telescope and the counterweights just swinging around as fast as it can, turn off the power and then worry about it in the morning. When I went down in the morning, all the wires were tangled. So I had to untangle them one at a time and check them, make sure none of them was ripped, and I had to make sure none of them was broken internally. Fortunately, no damage there. And then we came back the following day and captured the International Space Station 4 times in the same night. A bientôt, Michael. I've never done any serious imaging on the Western Front, so don't know what to expect. So we're going to look and see what Stellarium suggests besides TCRB. Okay, time. Let's see what's at 10 o'clock. Okay, M10, M12, M5, M13, they are all going to be near the meridian. Surprisingly, there is nothing due west. There is M81, but I doubt that I can see it. M101 is there. If there is M101, there should be M51 as well somewhere. Yep. Okay, so we have a cluster. Don't know if they're going to be visible. Time to start taking notes. So in the northwest, we're going to have M51, 101, 63. 63 is a beautiful galaxy. And then 94 and 106. They're all around 300 degrees azimuth. Closer to 270 degrees, which will be due west. Oh, Mercurian's chain is there, but it is low altitude, so it's going to be hard to capture. But we have M3, '53, 64. And then much lower is the whole Mercurian chain series, 86, 87, 88, 89. And due south we have TCRB, the moon of course, and then M80, M4. Lots of clusters which will make dwarf happy. M5, M10, M12. And then 107. Okay, that should keep us busy for the night. In about an hour or so, we'll see if we can calibrate dwarf so we can go for TCRB. Let's see where is TCRB or where it will be at 10 o'clock. It'll be very nicely located at 70-degree altitude and 210 degrees azimuth. TCRB is 15 hours. That's the RA deck, 59 minutes and 31 seconds. And the declination is 25 degrees, 55 minutes and 23 seconds. We shall enter it shortly in DWARF. I don't think it has either TCRB or NGC 4587. Sorry, IC 4587. Let's see if the moon is gonna clear that tree or if it's gonna hit it. Hi Nadine. Shadow object on the right. I do not see a shadow object on the right. We have the moon. Don't see anything else. Let's see if I can find an emoji with somebody with the hands up saying, I don't know. Oh, there we go. Good morning. We have had our fair share of clouds, and we are dealing with clouds right now. But I have not noticed anything on the surface of the moon per se. We just finished a bunch of thunderstorms moving through. You said good morning. What time zone are you in? Germany, stand by 1 second. We're looking at a Saturn passing behind the moon on the 25th of July, but we will not be able to see it here. Let me see if you'll be able to see it in Germany. Okay, at 4:42 p.m. here, which will put it at So you're 6 hours. That will put it at 10:42. So you are fortunate. You're the lucky ones. Please take note. Let me give you the exact time. On 24 July, starting at 16 plus 6 is 22, starting at 10:31 p.m. Germany time. Saturn goes behind the moon. I hope you get a chance to look at it. I think the moon is doing just fine. CrB is the one that's about to explode, and we're going to be taking a look at it soon. So Saturn will be hiding behind the moon for about half an hour. Let me see if I can put Germany here and verify that you'll be able to see it. Ah! It will be just rising. So you're going to need a very, very clear eastern horizon to see it. The folks further east will be able to see it. That's unfortunate. Yeah, the folks in the Middle East, Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel will be able to see it. Okay. You should be able to see it in Germany if you have a very, very low horizon somewhere facing east. Don't know. No, it's not. I am not aware of anything that is dangerous now. We have a very good view of the crater. Gonna grab 30 seconds of the moon. Good night, Nadine. Thanks for joining us. Hi Zena, I was getting on Facebook to send you a message that we are live. You may not recognize the new scenery from here, but Dwarf is sitting on its western porch or perch. I usually put it facing east. Now it is facing due south. And the plan is to try to image TCRB tonight to see if it has exploded yet. But for the time being, we're going to look at the moon until it gets dark enough. So we have another hour of lunar exploration. I don't know if you see the crater on the top left of the moon that has funny shadows on it. Well, every time we have a bad thunderstorm moving through, I go out hoping that some of those big trees have come down, and they have not. Yes, facing southwest. Yeah, this one is a nice Christmas tree. Actually, in a few minutes we'll be looking at another tree, bigger and better. Yeah, that side of the house is facing the street. That's why we have some big trees to give us. a semblance of privacy and some sound deafening from the cars and trucks. As a matter of fact, yes, I have a video that will show up in a day or two of a fawn, of the same fawn, drinking from the pond. Let me see. There you go, Gina. At about 9:30 we should be able to look at TCRB at the blaze star to see if it has exploded yet. Zina, this is the nice thing about dwarf. I can be looking at anything within 2 minutes of seeing it. Plus it has no problem pointing down below the horizon, so to speak, because of the high perch on the 3rd floor. But right now the moon looks nice. These are the sounds of nature trying to go to sleep. I don't know if you can hear them. Good evening, Larry. Let me update you on the plan for the night. Yeah, these are frogs, among others. We have the telescope on the western perch. So it is looking south right now, due south. That's where the moon is. And within the hour, we'll be looking at TCRB, which is going to be south. The view due west is not good because of trees. But we have a whole bunch of galaxies and clusters in the south and the southwest and the northwest that we're going to attempt to image. This is a new perch that I built for dwarf. And we're going to see how well it does tonight. That's the nice thing about having a 2-pound telescope. You can put it pretty much anywhere. But right now, it clears the house at 162 degrees. And we're going to find out how far it goes towards the west. In the meantime, we're enjoying the moon, and I'm gonna go grab a drink, so stay with me. Larry, I sent you a link to the audio. If you wanna grab the mic, you're welcome to do so. Just click on it and start talking. I have imaged Mercury in the past when it is in the eastern sky at maximum elongation from the Sun, but it is not an easy target, that's for sure. Venus, I've gotten some very, very good images over the years. By the way, Saturn is gonna sneak behind the Moon on July 24. Unfortunately for us, it'll be during daytime and both of them will be behind the Earth, so we will not be able to see it. Folks in Germany, if they have a very low horizon, they'll be able to see it. But pretty much anybody east of Germany will have a good shot at seeing Saturn going behind the Moon and then reappearing half an hour later. But not us. So I'm going to try to see if Dwarf wants to play focus or not. The last two attempts to autofocus were disasters, so let's see this one. Alright, that's slightly better. Not perfect, but better. The package has arrived and I have not gotten around to do the unboxing yet. I was gone to Virginia for 4 days and it arrived during my absence. Just came back and have not opened it yet. Tomorrow I will do the unboxing and post the video. Good evening, Bill. I sent you the link as part of the invite, and you are live. If you click on it, you can talk to us. Zina, don't know how long I'm going to be live tonight. The probability of rain is in the 40 to 50%. There goes a plane across the moon. Ha ha. That'll be a nice short. It occurred at 1 hour, 7 minutes and 18 seconds. We're going to do TCRB next. Bill, this is the western porch, or perch I should say, and dwarf right now is pointing due south. The wide angle camera will show you the trees that I have to deal with. But this will afford us a whole bunch of targets on the south and the west that we can attempt to get. You have the ability to slide. Oh, you're using your phone? You have the ability to slide the slider on your YouTube and go back and see the plane. It happened exactly a minute and a half ago. Yeah, right now the schedule is slipping. The surveyor is scheduled to come and survey the property the week of August 5th. Will give us the map the following week, so week of August 12th. I'll submit the paperwork to the town. And then they don't meet till the third Monday of the month, so that will get us to mid-September for the initial meeting, and then 30 days of public comment, which will get us to mid-September. No, we're already mid-September. That'll get us to mid-October, and then when they make the final decision and closing. So if we get it done by Halloween, that'll be good. Otherwise, it's looking more like Thanksgiving. Thanks, Bill. Did you see if it dropped any tires while flying by? There was another plane that dropped a tire on taking off from San Francisco recently. Bill, can you inform us what the authority of the FAA is when it comes to grounding the Falcon 9 after stage 2 failed to separate in outer space? Does FAA's jurisdiction extend into outer space? That's right, thank you. With the Falcon 9 grounded and the Boeing Starliner stuck, there are those two poor astronauts who need to hitchhike back home from the International Space Station, and nobody can bring them back. Well, technically that was not a space launch. They were out of... okay, what was that? For some unknown reason, DWARF decided to move. Let's bring DWARF back to where DWARF needs to be. That was strange. There may have been something that flew by that led DWARF to think it was the moon and it chased it. Wow. We have a runaway dwarf. Had not seen that before. Okay. I'm gonna check on it, see, just in case there is a squirrel or a chipmunk moving the dwarf around. Dwarf is not happy. Now we're going to attempt something that only Dwarf allows us to attempt, and that is a remote reboot. The other telescopes do not permit that. Okay, it has disconnected. Imagine that happening with a 250-pound 16-inch scope. And it has happened. Okay, let's go to photo. And let's see if we can find the moon again. There's the moon. Let's adjust the speed for a second. And let's do a moon track. Okay, that's more like it. Now we go to gain 0, shutter 200. Okay, the reboot worked, so we're back in business. And let's see if DWARF is gonna focus this time. Okay, doesn't want to. Alright, that's more like it. Bill, we're going to miss an occultation of Saturn by the moon. It's going to happen on 24 July, but unfortunately for us, it'll be at 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. our time. The folks in Germany will be able to see it if they have a very, very low horizon to the east, because it'll be just rising. Otherwise, anybody further east from that, the folks in Italy, Turkey, Greece, Lebanon, Israel, everything east of that will be able to see Saturn go behind the moon and then reappear half an hour later. What's Antares doing today? Ah, that's not till tomorrow afternoon. sunset tonight is 8:41, so in another 10-20 minutes we will attempt to calibrate and go look at the CrB. Good night to you too, Zena. The focus is not that good because we have enlarged the moon. We can try to do the focus. That's the best we're gonna get, focus-wise. We're splitting pixels here, which is why it looks a bit fuzzy. In 10 minutes we're going to attempt calibration and then hopping over to the CrB. Yes, it is hot. We were in the 90s during the day, and what is it now? 81. It is going down. But tomorrow we should have a break in the temperature. So I postponed my long run to Thursday morning. Oh, just 2 miles. In the heat, I limited to 2 to 3 miles for the shorter runs. And I did 13.1 half a marathon last week for the long run. And I'm scheduled to do 15 or 16 tomorrow morning or Thursday morning. It'll probably be Thursday. Marathon is coming on September 1, so I have to get to a 20 miler by early August. Syracuse used to be a very nice place. Unfortunately, like many big cities, it has fallen into a state of disrepair. Too many abandoned buildings, too many abandoned homes. I'm gonna go take a peek at the western sky, see if there are enough stars for a calibration. Be right back. I'll leave you with the frogs. Okay, I am back. Between the moon and the city lights, the western sky is still as bright as daylight. So I'm going to give it another few minutes. This morning when I got to Oswego and I opened the observatory, it was swarming with wasps and hornets. The place was packed inside. I looked to the roof and I saw that there is a big nest. So I just flipped the switch to open the gate and it dropped the nest outside, and they all flew out, and I closed it and got some work done. Toston Loaf, it is still a national, it's still a New York Air National Guard base. The 174th, they fly UAVs, and the 152nd are still based at Hancock. No more F-16s though. Don't know what the impact of Orion and Meade demise might be. The majority of telescopes on university campuses and amateur societies are Meades, and there is a very large secondary market for parts and repairs and maintenance, so I don't think it's going to matter much, except that you will not be able to buy new ones for the most part. Alright, let's see, 9:30 if it's going to let us go astro mode. The moon is going to mess with the calibration, but we'll see. Okay, trying to calibrate into trees. Okay, as soon as calibration fails, we will attempt again with a slightly higher angle. You can see how bright it is still to the west. That's how bright the light pollution from Syracuse is to my west. See? That's the city lights. So this is the edge of the house. I suspect if we go higher it's gonna get darker, yes. Alright, let's see if that'll do it. You know very well, Bill, that the Bortle levels are as seen from top down, not bottom up. Okay, if we can clear the moon out of the way, it might improve our chances. Yeah, okay. This may be viable. If we start right around here, we may have a chance. Looks like we're in luck. Yeah, Seestar is out of the way. We got 2 out of 3. Come on, give me the third. Okay, try again. Battery is good tonight. I mean, there are the stars up there. Okay, let's try again. Success. Okay. TCRB Atlas. Search for. Ooh. I saw 13p. I don't know if it's going to be visible or in the trees. It may well be in the trees, but we're going to try. And then we'll hop over to TCRB. Okay, show us. Uh-oh, we may be in luck. This is awful bright for a night. Hello, Jacob. I hope we're not dealing with clouds here. Okay, back to TCRB. One hour, 7 minutes. Fifteen seconds. Oh, sorry. Reading the wrong line. 15 hours, 59 minutes. And 31 seconds. Next, 25, 55, 23. Let's confirm. 15, 59, 31, 25, 55, 23, go. Told the folks at Dwarf that I don't like that. Once we enter, we should be able to say go to and not have to pick something else there. Alright, more like it. It does not look like it has exploded yet. Bill, this is your chance to pick targets in the west and the south. Otherwise, we have a whole bunch of galaxies and clusters ranging from M80, M4, M5, 14, 12, 107, and then M3, 53, 64, the entirety of Mercurian's chain, and we have M51, 101, 63. These are three very beautiful galaxies. I don't know if I take that as a compliment that you're saying spending the night with us, that's how sick you are. Glad you're with us, hope you feel better. Yeah, I have the south, definitely. From 162 degrees azimuth, that's where dwarf clears the house. And don't know how far to the northwest I have it, but 3 plus or minus. So it is south, primarily south, but we also have west as long as it's high enough, and northwest. Once we satisfy ourselves that CrB has not exploded, and apparently it has not, I'm going to try to hop onto the northwest and see if it will get M51 or M101 or M63. Let me see where they are. M63 is at 284. M51 is 293. And M101 is 308. We can get Antares. Let's go for Antares first. The reason it takes so long is the AI enhancement, which I will turn off next. It's not going to enhance 1 star. I have 2 passes also, but they are much too low. Alright, that's the enhanced image. End current session. Stop tracking. Atlas. My only concern with Antares is 20 degrees. Let's see if we're going to see it or not. 20 should be fine. There it is. There is Antares. Wow, okay, no, that's the moon. Okay, never mind. I was going to say it's too far off, but that was the moon there. Let's see where it is relative to the trees. Yeah, I don't see the trees anymore, so it is dark on this side of the sky. Yeah, I see the tree line here. Okay. Yeah, this is Antares. I'm going to see if I can go all the way to 101, which is 308 degrees. It is high enough at 63. Don't know if we can go as far as 308. Yeah, it's not too far from us. Let's see if it got it. Looks like it may have. So from about 160 to 310, that's not too bad. The western perch. I have exposure at 15 seconds with gain 80. We're gonna let it stack until we see a galaxy taking shape. You can see at the right hand of the screen that is the wall. So we are very, very close to the edge. Yes, Bill, I have it plugged in. It does not give me any problems at night, as long as the sun is not hitting it directly. I sent a question to the DWARF engineers and I have not heard back. Jacob, when DWARF II is sitting directly in the sun, when I'm imaging the sun, it'll obviously be in the sun. When it heats up, it stops charging and starts draining the battery, and I'm not sure if it's the battery that stops asking for current or if it's the charging circuitry that shuts down or fails. In winter I have the exact opposite. When it gets too cold, DWARF bypasses the battery and goes directly from the AC adapter into the telescope and skips the battery. So it's no longer a matter of 100% charged, it just skips it. Seestar does the same. Battery turns blue and it's taken out of line. But for some reason when it's hot, it disconnects the AC adapter. I put a USB meter, thanks to Palouse, who pointed me to the USB meters. I put a USB meter and it shows very clearly that dwarf is no longer asking for current from the adapter. Yeah, Torsten Loaf, the charger does what the dwarf asks it to do, but dwarf stops talking to the charger completely. According to the USB meter, actually USB meter turns off because there is no current flowing at all. Yeah, Torsten Loaf, that's exactly my question to Dwarf Lab. I took the battery out and it was not warm, but the telescope itself was very hot to the touch, including the plastic. Oh yeah, I have operated Stellina and Seestar at -20 Fahrenheit. Have not operated Dwarf below 0 Fahrenheit yet. Maybe next week. The only thing that froze with Stellina was the autofocus. It stopped focusing at -20 Fahrenheit. The galaxy is trying to take shape. You may have heard me report findings of putting both Seestar and Dwarf in direct sunlight when the temperature was 93 and tried measuring the temperature on both of them, and to my surprise, Dwarf, that is a lighter color, heated up a lot more than Seestar, that is black. The plastic of Dwarf was running at just over 165 degrees, but the plastic on Seestar was only about 135, so it was a solid 20-30 degrees cooler. I have since painted Seestar with my magic UV reflecting paint, but the plastic on Dwarf is hot to the touch, very, very hot. I don't know about the grease. That'll be a question for Sue. I know they are using plastic gears. I don't know if they grease them or not. And ever since I painted the observatory, the temperature has not exceeded 100 degrees inside it, even when closed. So I'm happy with that success there. When I bought the paint, Bill, Lowe's offered me any tint that I want. They were willing to color that paint for me, any color I wanted, including black. And they assured me that the heat and ultraviolet reflectivity is not adversely impacted by the color that they put in it. I told them, please leave it white. In my mind, it doesn't make sense to have it black. They claim that same reflectivity, black or white. I was not gonna try it, not on my dime. Torsten Loaf, DWARF kept working, imaging the sun until the battery hit 5% and then it shut down. But in the meantime, it was showing the battery was not green and there was no lightning symbol next to it, even though it was plugged in. Battery was just white and was dropping rapidly. There was another consideration, Bill. If I had tainted them, if I had put color in them, I would not have been able to return them. I read on the can, and each gallon said is good for 200 square feet. So I did my math. We're talking about 8 foot high, 8 foot diameter. So you're looking at 8 times 8 times 3 effectively, which is 200. And then the dome, 8 foot, is another 200 roughly. So I got 4 gallons, assuming 2 coats. And it ended up being 1 gallon allowed me to have 3 coats on the entire thing. So I returned the 3 gallons eventually. Unopened, no question asked. And there was enough left to paint the Seestar. It's an ugly duckling with black on the back and white on the front. This clear sky tonight was not in the forecast, so I'm gonna take it and enjoy it and not complain. I doubt that I'll paint it in the first few weeks. I will just use it and see what it does. It's supposed to be slightly darker than Dwarf II, slightly grayer as opposed to the tan color of Dwarf II. Oswego has officially scheduled our partial lunar eclipse extravaganza there. How do you envision a Mylar test? Bill, I am sure you are aware of the Vera C. Rubin conference begins next Monday. I received the agenda and there are some interesting sessions to attend. In addition to the plenary in which they give a status update, right now they're expecting to have first light next summer in about a year. They have a session on Monday on machine learning and artificial intelligence as used by the Rubin telescope, and that should be interesting. Tuesday they are talking about alert brokers, and then a session on the solar system science. And then Wednesday they have a session on citizen science and how we can get involved. And then finally on Thursday, plans for first light and how they're going to conduct the public outreach. Okay. I see what you mean. I looked at pictures of the Rubin telescope. It is massive. It is massive. They're talking about a 25-foot mirror. 25 foot. Well, they're charging an arm and a leg for people to attend the conference physically, but they're making it available for free to anybody who wants to attend it virtually. So Bill and I signed up and looking forward to both the learning piece as well as the looking in awe piece. I have not seen it referred to as ELT, they are referring to it as SLLT. Yeah, they had a very large crane in the picture next to the telescope building, and the crane looked like a matchbox toy. Its main object is to do a legacy survey of space and time, LSST. Now, the part that is not as impressive is the pixel size. It's only 2/10 of an arc second, which is about what I'm getting with the Meet 16. It's the F ratio is F over 1.23. So with a 9.9 meter primary and 10.3 meter focal length, it's f1.1 actually, not f2. Yeah. They are using a gigapixel camera on it. But once you look at the 100 square meters or thereabouts aperture. That spreads very quickly on the pixels. They expect to be imaging the entire solar system several times or thereabouts a day. It says here every few nights they'll be able to image the entire solar system. Actually, I'm reading the About Rubin Observatory, and they are saying it will conduct a deep survey over an enormous area of sky and do it with a frequency that enables images of every part of the visible sky to be obtained every few nights, and continue in this mode for 10 years to achieve astronomical catalogs thousands of times larger than have ever previously been compiled. It is a wide field. Yep. More than 20 terabytes of data must be processed each night. Now that you can get a 100 terabyte hard drive, solid state hard drive that will fit inside a laptop or a tablet, a laptop, they are available. So talking about 20 terabytes each night is no big deal. My first PC had a 10 megabyte hard drive. Mega with an M. It was an IBM PC XT with DOS 3.1. Not many of my DOS skills. I still go to the command prompt. I still program some batch files, but not much.
Welcome to Fall River. We have a lot going for us. Historic charm, great bird watching, and an Amazon warehouse. Jose is doing a free tech program. His career's about to take off in
software development.
MJ works here. She got healthcare on her first day.
For me and my kids.
Big birding family. Locals are spotting opportunities at Amazon all across the country. Good for employees, good for Fall River. Good spot.
Former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, joins me now. What did you think of the president's Oval Office address?
Well, I thought it was appropriate what he said. I thought it was right timing. I thought if you watched it, he caught himself because he almost said, "Make America great again." Did you see that? He said America, then he had to stop. You could tell it was teleprompter. And really, what he's doing there at the time, he's doing what's appropriate for a president now.
Right.
Calm the temperature down. But he's also solidifying his own race. Prior to this assassination, the whole quest was to get him out from running. And he had a couple more weeks to go before the August Democratic Convention. They wanted to take a run on him. And now that's put aside.
Right. So he is probably going to be the nominee, unless maybe they try some hijinks.
I don't think they can now.
I think it's cement.
Yes.
How does he run against Donald Trump now? He's got the mugshot. A bullet basically came within an inch of his brain.
I don't have any TV on, don't know where that might be coming from. Ah, I do have YouTube playing, so I can see what's going out, coming back in, and there was an ad on it. I'll shut the audio on that one. Bill, remember when we were doing the dry run for the solar eclipse, and I was playing a NASA feed, testing it, did not realize they were waking up the astronauts on the International Space Station with some music, and YouTube detected that and flagged the video as a copyright violation by using music that was copyrighted without permission. Talk of second or third order effect here. Yeah, I shut down the feed. A very long time ago, we were broadcasting on the web a track meet from White Plains, New York, the Laux Games. And I did not realize that the feed was not leaving the school and people were watching it only inside the school because the firewalls. And ever since then, I learned the lesson of having a feed from outside the perimeter going out and back in to make sure that people on the outside can watch it. With YouTube, I can see what's going out, but I try to pull it usually with the VPN. Since YouTube is using all Google and Google Chrome, and the Google app itself on Windows is Chrome based. So I open an Opera browser and use a VPN to specify an IP address away from my region and pull the feed to make sure that what you guys are watching is good, that we don't have delay or broken feed. Earlier this afternoon, actually this morning, I saw a fawn drinking from the pond, and that's the beauty of dwarf. Within 2 minutes of seeing the fawn, I was recording it live. Well, actually not live, I was recording it. And I recorded a 3-minute video that I posted since. That fawn was quite a distance, and the dwarf has the ability to zoom in very nicely. Yeah, YouTube has done a very good job in pushing the feed. The Laux, the broadcast from White Plains that I was doing of a high school track meet, was in 1999. So we're talking about last century, several years before YouTube came into existence. It did, yeah. I used tracking and I put a box around the phone and let Dwarf track it. couple months ago when I was in the Adirondacks, Dwarf was able to track a loon flying over the water at Blue Mountain Lake. I put the box on the loon in the water and the loon took off, and Dwarf, full speed, rotating, tracked it until it disappeared, went out of sight. So it has the ability to move very, very fast. I have not tracked any planes with it. That was the only flying object I ever tracked with the Dwarf, and it was good. Last summer it tracked a snapping turtle for the better part of an hour as the turtle walked around the yard looking for a place to dig. Eventually found a place, dug it, buried eggs, laid eggs and buried them. And we kept a watch and never saw anything come out of that hole. Did not see any baby turtles come out. So the forecast here, when we go to the other side of midnight, they're talking about 51% chance of, well, mostly cloudy and 51% chance of thunderstorms. I was looking to see if I should open the big dome and get ready for the parade of planets, because Saturn should be coming up soon, followed by Neptune, and then Mars and Uranus, and then Jupiter. And then not much later, Venus and Mercury. But we're not going to do that tonight. All the International Space Station passes this week are going to be very low. In the 15 to 20 degree range. Hello, Wilbur. We're not watching clouds yet. We're stacking Messier 101 on the other side of the house. Wilbur, we were talking about you a few minutes ago when I said I have been using that USB meter a lot, especially in trying to figure out why dwarf stops charging when it gets hot. I haven't seen a green flash. Okay, Bill, do you have a suggestion for the next target? We have M10 and M12. And M13 definite possibilities. Southwest. Although if you have something that is much higher, we can go west. We can try to see if we can pick Arcturus, which is at about 45 degrees, 43 degrees elevation now. And M3 is exactly west and same elevation as Arcturus, so we'll see if we can get these. M81 and M82 should be in the same field of view right now. That might be worth trying. Okay, yeah, M10 and M12 are both possibilities. I'm going to invite you to join me in a test that I want to do next. And that is opening up the DWARF server. I tried installing it, have not gotten it to work yet, and that is the ability to control DWARF from Stellarium. Jacob, you still there? All right. This is the DWARF server. And let's open Stellarium. In theory, if we look at telescope, we should be able to add the dwarf telescope to it. Connect. It says connected. And it says connected. The next question is, does it show us where it is? It is not. So if I stop it, I'm going to try to give it a go-to command from Stellarium at the risk of crashing it. There is no sign of a dwarf telescope anywhere on the map on Stellarium. Okay, we're going to end this session. Stop tracking. I'm going to select M12. And if I hit Control 1, we should see activity here. It did. It sent the command. But nothing has moved on the dwarf. Except for a Starlink satellite, and the server has crashed. Okay. It reopened as connected. Alright, we'll declare this experiment as a failure and go back to work. Then you can watch the moon with us during the eclipse. I'm going to take a pit stop at Arcturus, see if we can see it, and then we move on. I got Stellarium and Seestar to work together, but I'm unable to get Dwarf to work with Stellarium. So this is Arcturus. There is the moon. This is Monsieur 10. Go for it. Yep, there it is. Okay. IR, cut, shutter, 10, go. Torsten Love, are you talking about the partial lunar eclipse on September 17? Why would it be that far below your horizon? When the eclipse starts, the moon will be about just 34 degrees above the horizon and at 121 azimuth. And then it will be done 38 degrees and 144. It'll only be about an hour and a half total. Not as exciting as the solar eclipse. Yeah, from about 22:11 to 23:11, 1 hour. Of Saturn behind the moon, yes. Mostly Eastern Europe, more so than Western Europe. You must be doing something wrong because Alabama will be able to see the moon. Let me change location here to Montgomery. Yeah, nothing changes. You should be able to see the eclipse. Did you know that the lunar eclipse occurs everywhere at the same time, as opposed to the solar eclipse, which moves geographically from one place to the other? Huntsville, Rocket City. I don't know the answer to your question, Bill. It's good to see that taking darks paid off. I don't see a single hot pixel on this image. And if we want to get rid of the walking noise, that's very doable. Yeah, the Torsten law of it shouldn't matter. You may want to try Stellarium Web for a moment and go to 17 September at 10:30 p.m. You should be able to see the eclipse on the north pole of the moon. Yeah, this is coming out nicely. Next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, there is an ISS transit of the Sun in the afternoon. Don't know if it's going to change over the week or not. There was an upgrade, an update of Seestar. I don't remember if it was just the app or firmware as well. Wide-angle dwarf is going to be it. The peak on August 12, midnight. they're talking about potentially 150 meteors per hour on the night of the 11th of August. And Andromeda will not be too far. So weather permitting, we will definitely put a telescope on it. If Dwarf 3 arrives, yes, you bet. I think so. I would hesitate to be looking at a narrow 3-degree field of view to catch the meteors. Probably go with the wider field aimed roughly at the Perseus and see what comes out of there. According to Earth and Sky, we should start seeing them today, from today till September 1. I'm looking out of the window to where the meteors will occur, and sure enough, the International Space Station is going through the radiant as we speak. Yeah, they're saying all the way through August, with the peak on August 11. Gonna give M10 another 10 minutes or so, and then call it a night so I can get some sleep to get ready for my long run. You're welcome, Bill. I intended this to be an experiment to see what we can do from the, call it the West Wing. That's probably better than the Western Perch. And it shall be known as the West Wing from now on. I'm keeping an eye on the weather, and it's not feeling to open the big dome tonight. There are still thunderstorms in the area. You're welcome, Torsten Loaf. Make sure you tell your friends to subscribe. When I get Dwarf 3, I will be able to put one dwarf in the east wing and one dwarf in the west wing, and have the big telescopes on terra firma, on solid ground, as opposed to hanging from balconies. First thing I need to do tomorrow night is collimate the 11-inch Celestron. All the passes of the ISS are going to be very low, so there is no temptation to try to improve on the big success of last Monday. Yes, I told my children that what I want for my 70th birthday is for them to get me the Skyshed S dome. And the only reply I got was, why wait till you turn 70? We can get it to you sooner, so that'll allow full automation and remote control of the dome, which will be nice. They did well. My oldest got a PhD in bugs and she's teaching, she has tenure. My middle child followed in my footsteps, studied computer engineering and has been gainfully employed. Slept on the floor and ate ramen noodles as an engineer to pay off his student loans, paid off all his loans in the first 6 months of employment. And my youngest joined the army as a nurse. Went to 4 different countries and then got out and is working as a civilian nurse. Congratulations. I'm trying to get to 100 marathons before I turn 70. Apparently you get slower as you get older. I am proud of them. They did good. They did good. We look at the generational culture. My father did not finish high school, went to the war and drove a British Army truck during World War II, and had a singular obsession of putting us through college. And we pretty much did the same with our kids. Have no problem with them going to trade school or getting jobs after high school or whatever, but we led by example. The only thing we told them is we'll help them with college if they study something that will get them a job when they graduate. The young one said, I don't need you, the army will pay for my college. And she did. Graduated without a penny in student loans. Gentlemen, we're gonna give it till 250 stacked frames, and then we'll call it a night. M10 is indeed looking nice. B-24s. Were these the planes that took off from the aircraft carriers to go to Japan under General Doolittle? B-25s, okay. Yes. Yep. Apparently when the carrier group was detected, when the Japanese detected it, and the decision was to launch the raid earlier, knowing very well that they will not be returning to the aircraft carriers, and Doolittle told his men, it is a volunteer mission, and the unanimous answer was, anything to get away from the Navy cooking. Food was so bad on the carriers, they'd rather take a chance with ditching in China. Torstenloff, was he stationed stationed at Hancock Field? Ah, okay. Oh. Well, looks like all three of our fathers were involved in World War II in one capacity or the other. Okay, gentlemen, it's time to wish you all a good night. I'm gonna go bring the dwarf in. So long, and we'll probably see you tomorrow. Well, I'll most likely be putting some telescopes out tomorrow. We'll see what the day brings. For now, so long.